My name is Jess, and this is episode 17 of Knitting on Sweater Avenue. This is a podcast where I talk about what I have been knitting on, what I'm currently working on, and I do have some new yarn, so my new acquisitions, as well as I talk about my new cast-ons. I do a pretty normal podcast format. It's been about a month, which was my intention, and I have been knitting up an absolute storm. I have 5 finished objects, 2 of which you've never seen before, and then some whips, and 2 new cast-ons, and just a lot to talk about. But to start with, this was my finished object last time, but it's what I'm wearing today, and it is a hack between the Rhue sweater from the creabea and the Astrid sweater from Knitting for Olive, and I've knit it using 2 strands of kinross 4-ply held together, and I loved it. I'm off gauge for both patterns, so just ignore that. But it has this fabulous, I'll probably just try and, excuse my shorts. It's got a curved hem, and it is so comfy, and I'm gonna sit back down, and it's fabulous. The only thing I would say is I think I want to block the arms a bit longer. I was worried about them getting too long, but they just tend to sit sort of a little bit shorter. They sort of sit bracelet length. I feel like this is very soft and cozy, and I want them to be a bit longer. So I'll probably, the next time I block it, I'll try and block it a bit longer, and if that doesn't work, I do have more yarn, so I might whip that out and just lengthen the sleeves a bit, add a bit more, and then redo the ribbing. I love this jumper. I've been wearing it heaps, and it is so soft and cozy, and I just recently, I spent a week at my parents' house, and I only took 2 jumpers, and they were both newly cast off, and they were just they were absolute winners. The whole thing, I love them. So this one's fabulous. I can wear it to work. I feel like the curved hem is quite chic and groovy, and also people don't think that you can knit that. Well, I guess the people at my work now do, because whenever I wear a knit sweater, they go, "Did you knit that?" But for the most part, they don't. So my other finished objects, I'll start with the sweaters, because I have 2, but I guess one of them was pretty nearly finished last time. This, and I definitely have pictures of this one, this is the zipper sweater light man that I knit for my partner in Cascade 220. And I don't know if you can see from how much the sleeve is already pilling. I finished this about 3 weeks ago for him. It had been blocking, and then one day I was home from work, and he was working, and it had dried, so I took it off the blocking mats. I sewed the zipper in. The zipper came with a Petite knit label, so I sewed that on too, and then I put it back on the blocking mats to see if he'd notice, and that was the first thing he noticed. He walked in and he was like, "You finished my jumper." Anyway, he has been wearing this, I reckon, every day since I finished it, which makes me feel a bit bad. Now I'm worried because look at how much the sleeve is pilling. So I need to buy a D-pillar, but this has just gone down brilliantly. I knit somewhere between the extra small and the small, and I knit on 4.5mm needles rather than the recommended 4mm, because that's the fabric I wanted. He tends to run pretty warm, so I figured a slightly lighter jumper would do well for him. I don't think the pattern called for twisted rib. Anyway, I didn't do twisted rib. I just did normal 1x1 ribbing, and I think I did 4 and 4.5, and then 4 on the cuffs and the hem, rather than 3.5 for the hem, for the ribbing. And the only other thing was I finished the sleeves for him. I don't know if you remember last time they were shorter and wider, but I finished them, and then he wore them for a few days and was like, "Oh, is it okay? Could you make them tighter and longer?" So I took them off, I made them tighter and longer. Looks the same to me. And he loves them. I think the issue was when he tried to push it up to do the washing up or something, they weren't staying up. So now they do, which is good. It's a bit cold for that right now. And this has just been an absolute winner of a jumper, and it's very soft and cozy. Petite zipper sweater. It's a winner. It's the one he wanted. I am very happy with how the zip sewed in, and I have found where I can find other zips in Australia, so I might need a zipper sweater myself. But very happy with that. The only thing I'm still confused about is that there is no edge stitch or anything. It's just like, that's the edge of your fabric, and in this dark it's totally fine, you can't see it at all. But I feel like that might bother me if it was in a lighter colour and you could see that my edge stitch is not the neatest stitch. I like to have them hidden. Thank you very much. But yes, that is the zipper sweater man, and it's just, yeah, that's like, the other jumper I knit for him was like a complete fail compared to this. Like, this has just gone down so well. And I think I'll use Cascade 220 for him again in the future. Partly because it's quicker for me to knit too, because it's like an 8-10 ply yarn, something like that. So yes, that's my first finished object. But don't worry, there's many more. The second one, and this was pretty close last time, is my Midland cardigan. This is the Midland cardigan by Laura Penrose. It is an all-over garter stitch cardigan that I have knit in pure gynt, and it's knit side to side. She obviously has many more useful information about it, but it's knit side to side, and then you pick up and knit the 2 sleeves. It has a lovely 2-stitch sort of slip stitch edge that goes down the sleeve. That's clearly where I blocked it. Anyway, so you can see it up here. And then it has a double knit button band. I have gone with some nice little wooden buttons that I bought at a craft shop in Rhue, Victoria, when we were visiting my boyfriend's parents. And yeah, I think the only thing I had to do from last time is finish up the button band. This has gone really well. I will say, I think that I knit the button band a bit tight. So I used 4.5mm needles for the body and 3.5 for the button band, and it just sort of pulls up. Okay, it looks fine as I hold it up right now, but I have a few pictures, and I think you can see that it pulls up a bit in the middle. And I don't care. I know that I could redo it, and maybe I will care enough in the future to redo it, but this has already gotten so much where I finished it, I blocked it, and I sewed the buttons on, and then it's just been so good. It's a bit more hardy than a few of my other knits, and my other cardigan is a black suri alpaca and merino one, so this one is a little bit it's pea gynt. And it's one of the pea gynt tweeds, so it's got purple and yellow specks, and it's just fabulous. I think I knit size 2 from Laura Penrose, and I was a bit worried about the length when I blocked it, but sort of again, it's been perfect. It fits, it goes halfway down my bum when I'm wearing my jeans, and it's cozy and it's nice. And given we've had a cold snap here in Melbourne, and I spent a week in Canberra, which is noticeably colder, this was lovely. This plus my puffer jacket, and I was good for the day. So yeah, this has been an absolute win. I was a bit worried when the yarn came, and as my mum told me, she was also worried because I thought the specs were camel and a charcoal, and when they came it was purple and yellow. I realized it's aubergine and eggplant, but aubergine and mustard would be if you wanted to use more specific color words, but it actually looks fine. And from back here it just looks like a grey cardigan, maybe a little bit speckly, and then when you get closer, but it's just been fabulous. So I think also, having worn this one a lot, I've already de-pilled it because my mum had her de-pilling thing out and I got bored. So I did a bit of de-pilling, but it has pilled more than I sort of expected for a pure gynt because it's sort of pretty hardy. I don't know if that's the tweed doing something or anything like that, but I don't mind. It's a comfy, cozy cardigan. And yeah, I'm a fan. So, second finished object. The third finished object is just a quick one, and you saw it last time, but these are my finished Hermione everyday socks. I have 2 of them. They have not been blocked because I finished them and then I went away. They're fabulous. I'm a fan. I am using, this is Was He a Knob from Paisley Knits, And then this is I think the color is called sombra. And it's from Salem. I think the yarn company is called Toil and Trouble, but all the details will be in the description box below. I just paired them up because I sort of thought that it had colours that matched, and I had this mini that I hadn't used. The Wazier knob came with the Best Gal Pals sock set, but I didn't, that was like a yellow, and I didn't want to hold them together, so I just had the mini, and I'm trying to use up the random bits of yarn in my stash. So there's that pair of socks, which is going well, looking good. That will block, we'll block that now actually, with my next finished object, which I cast on, took to my parents' house and finished, all without showing you at all. This is the Avenue vest by Tori Rhue, I think. Yeah, I think it's Tori Knits NYC. I hope that's right. And it's fabulous. I hacked it quite a lot. So, I was off gauge because I had this yarn that I wanted to use. I had 2 skeins of this hand-dyed yarn from Zakami. I think it was a one-of-a-kind colorway, so I don't think it had a name, that I have held with tin silk mohair in the color brown sugar. I have none of it left. Well, I have some of the brown sugar, but none of the BFL. And I wanted to knit a vest. I have an orange vest that I love that's a little bit short because similarly I had a random amount of yarn that I needed to use. And so yeah, I really liked the details on the Avenue vest. It's sort of got a 2-stitch coming along here, and then similarly along the front 2 stitches, and then it's got, I really like all of the ribbing. You do however many rows, and then you knit a row and then bind off, just knitwise, and I think it looks really groovy. Sort of there's my slightly dodgy back, but anyway, I knit. It's slightly bigger than my other one, and we'll see how it blocks, but I just think it's fabulous. The changes I have made, other than, so I measured my gauge, and so I think I did less increases along the back because it was already going to be bigger than than given in the pattern. And then I wanted to change the depth of the front a little bit, so I compared it to, I have the Semper Slipover V-neck pattern by the Knit Pearl Girl, and that's what I knit my orange vest in. And it has a portion where you don't do any neckline increases, so I did that. And then I spread out my neckline increases a little bit more to get a slightly deeper V. Then once I finished the first ball, that took me to about here, I took the second ball and I did all of my edgings, which I regretted afterwards because I knit a bit more and then was a bit worried that I had cast on too many stitches at the underarm and it was going to be a bit big, but I think it's fine. Then did my ribbing. I decided to do a longer ribbing on the bottom. That's different from the pattern. And then I was binding off on the bottom. I had sort of measured to make sure I would have enough because I assumed that I would need 3 times the circumference for each row. So I would need 6 times the circumference to do the plain knit row and the bind off row. And then I was doing that and I got like halfway through and I ran out of yarn and I was in Canberra. But luckily my boyfriend was flying down for the weekend, and so I got him to bring my swatch. And so I took the swatch and I undid the swatch just to do from here to here of the bind off, which looks fine. Looks fine. And now I have a finished vest that I shall be blocking as soon as I finish filming this video. And I think, like, when this color came, I think I was positive about it, but I was a bit worried about it. There have been a few colors, a few words used to describe this, all relating to feces, to be honest. And it's just, I was worried, but I think it's a winner, and I think the brown sugar, it's not coming up quite right on camera. I would say it's yellower than it looks there. I have a picture of the swatch. Like, it was interesting, I took a picture of the swatch to add to my Ravelry. And then I was taking a picture when I finished the V-neck to post on Ravelry too, and the V, like, something had gone wrong with the colours of the second one. So I have a picture which I think is true to colour. So I'll post that so you can have a look at what the colour it's meant to be. But I think this will fit into the wardrobe. I have some nice black jeans and I think I can wear it to work, keep me warm in the day. So that is a winner, and that is my second last FO. And then this last one you haven't seen at all either. Basically, I must have filmed the last episode and then gone absolutely mental just trying to smash things out because, like, this is insane. So my last finished object is a pair of Caudia gloves. These are the Caudia gloves pattern by Orsa makes, but there's so many different fingerless mittens patterns. I have replaced it has a 1x1 twisted rib. I've replaced that obviously with a 2x2 rib. I have no ribbing on the thumb. And then for my increases, I have switched what were make one rights for left lifted increases. And I switched what were make one lefts for right lifted increases. So I changed the direction and the type of increase to get 2 gloves. They fit on my hands, obviously 2 hands. They fit on my hands, they're good. They're nice and warm for walking to the train in the morning, particularly if, I feel like don't arrest me, but particularly if I'm not wearing a jumper or something, like it works under my coat if I just have a coat on. So, those are my gloves. They're very groovy, and that smoothly transitions us into, don't normally do it in this order, but I think that does smoothly transition us into my first whip, which you'll be shocked to hear is another pair of those gloves. And I've only just, oh yeah, here you go. It is the absolute, the yarn. Pause. The yarn for this is yarn that my mum frogged from her Monday sweater. So it is Knitting for Olive merino in what I can only assume is the colour pearl grey, held together with blackwattle fibres suri alpaca in also a pearlescent grey colour. And I just used it. She had knit her Monday sweater. I don't remember why she had part of it frogged. I guess it must have been too long. And so then she just had these balls of like frogged yarn. So there's many ends weaved in here from like the different bits she frogged. So that's that. But I was talking to my grandmother, who was quite keen for a pair herself. And therefore, I cast on some for her. And I've done so much. I have literally just done the cast on in one row. I am using the remainder of the yarn that I used to knit her Askell shawl by Durera Natura, which is Morris & Sons Empire 4-ply in a colour which I will post in the description. But for this one I'm holding 2 strands together of my suri alpaca from Zakami, the colour I will also post. So it's those 2 held together, but my plan is to knit, you like split the thumb off, and so I will weigh this once I split the thumb off, and if need be I have some more of that pearl grey, which I think would be fine to substitute just for like the thumbs for both of them and possibly the ribbing bit. So that's my plan if I run out of this, and I've got so much of this I'm trying to desperately use it up. So I'm using 2 strands of the suri. So these are going to be mega cozy, but I have only done just the tiniest bit of those. I cast them on immediately after I finished my pair, which took me 3 days or something. I like just focused on them. And I'm doing the twisted rib, but so that's like as per the pattern, but then I'm going to do the increases that I did because I really liked them. And it's nice trying different increases. So that was my cast on from like 2 weeks ago that I have just ignored since then. But let me show you my progress on my whips. I took an embarrassing number of whips to my parents' house. But I made some progress on a bunch of them, and I'm happy with how they look. So, first, oh gosh, thank you. This is really helpful. I'm glad that past me left this like this. Lovely. This is the Soul Top by Mochi Knits. Ta-da! That I am knitting in a Hemp Cotton Modal yarn, I think. Looks like this. The ball really thrives. Not. But in this like super nice like cocoa bean dark chocolate color. And this is, I've really enjoyed this pattern. So it has you sort of knit the edging on the arm at the same time, which I think looks fabulous. The fronts, they're sort of going in a bit, but they have, I don't know how to show you this. It's just sort of like a slipped edge, looking nice. And I have joined, well, I haven't joined in the round because you don't join in the round, but I've joined under the arm. I added a few rows of the garter underneath the arm because I thought it looked groovy, and I am completely off gauge. I don't know what I was thinking, but I measured the, I was measuring this, and I had done part of the back panel, and I realized that like it was just going to be so much longer. So I recalculated how many rows I needed to do for the back panel before I did the increases for the underarms, and I had to rip out something like 20 rows, which is very frustrating. And then I think I changed the underarm increase rate to increase less stitches, like I think I did one less increase. And then I had to completely change the increases for the neckline because it just didn't make sense if I continued it at the previous rate. So anyway, it involved a lot of chaotic maths, but I smashed it out, and now I'm just going back and forth, and I think it's gonna be fabulous. This is obviously a summer garment because it's just not going to be the vibes for winter, but it's been really fun. Like, and it's now at the stage where it's just mindless. Like I'm just going back and forth until it's long enough. I don't know how long that is, but I'm really intrigued. The fabric, it's not been as hard to knit as I maybe expected. I am using a metal needle, which I don't normally do. I am a knit pro. Well, I'm mostly knit pro. I use chow goose for my socks, but I'm a knit pro for my garments. And this is the Mindfulness collection, which I really like the cables from because they're like they're swivel cables, and they have like a nylon inside. But I hate with passion the words on the needle tips. I think they're ridiculous, but I have some, and I do like I have enjoyed using them. So yeah, there's that. Ticking away. I guess that's my second work in progress that I'm showing you. My third one is this guy. I made myself, I don't know if I'd done this last time, I made myself a new project bag. I found this fabric at Spotlight. I think it's hilarious and also cute, and I did it specifically so that I could have, those are blueberries, right? Yeah, like my little D-ring on my blueberries. Got a little not for sale tag, and this is self-drafted, and I meant to thread something through there so that it, like this one, which I also made, so that you can pull it. This one doesn't pull because I did practice doing, like there's batting on the inside of this, so it's very sturdy, and that one doesn't pull, and this one doesn't even have cords, but they're fun, and it's like lined, and I have pockets on this side. I just really I based it off of one that I had bought, this one, which I love, except obviously I did not do the quilting, but I really liked the shape and size, so I made myself some, because I like to sew as well. But inside is what you're here for. This is the Road Sweater by Ozetta in Explore Knits and Fibers, Earthy DK, in the colour Tawny, I want to say, and I have half a sleeve. So my plan here was I finished the ball that I was on the body, And then I wanted to switch to doing the neck and the sleeve. So I've done the neck and I'm doing the sleeve because one of my friends is knitting a jumper. She's using this size needles, and I wanted to finish off my sleeves so that I could lend her these needles. But I haven't. So we'll see how we go with that. At this point, it's looking like she might finish her sleeves before I do. I mostly followed the pattern, except I followed the way they do the ribbing on the bottom of the body and the sleeves for the top of this. So rather than doing like an Italian bind off at the top of this, I did some rows of ribbing and bound off so that it's circular. I'll be interested to see how this goes after it blocks, because it seems kind of floppy now. I picked up the right rate, and I mean, I think it looks cool, and I haven't yet, like almost all of my jumpers are double folded, elasticated, double folded necklines. I really like them. Yeah, if it works for you, why do anything else? So yeah, neckline is done. The sleeve I've had a bit of trouble with because I followed the pickup rate that it said, and I ended up with way more stitches than it said. So then I ripped it out because I was in a mood, which I shouldn't have done that. I should have just like knit two together, a few around, and did it again and ended up with I recalculated. So let's say the pickup rate said, let's say it said 3 out of 4. I don't remember what it actually said. If it said 3 out of 4 and I picked up the number it said and I ended up with 75, then you can assume that the number of rows is 100. There's some maths. So then I thought, if that's too many, let's say it wanted me to pick up 60, then I need to pick up at a 6 out of 10 rate, which is 3 out of 5. And then I picked up at a 3 out of 5 rate, which I would do pick up 2, skip 1, pick up 1, skip 1. And that didn't work either. I ended up with some way less, like 53. None of these numbers are correct, by the way, except for the maths numbers are correct. The pickup rates are wrong. And it was just very weird. And then my mum was like, why are you being such a... Mum was like, why are you making this so dramatic? Pick up at the pickup rate, see how many you have, and then do some decreases. And so I ended up doing somewhere in between that. But even so, got a very neat pickup edge. I'm very happy with that. And some cute little short rows. And now I'm just ticking away at my decreases along the sleeve. Yeah, so this one is also at a pretty chill stage, which is good because then I promptly forgot about it and left it in a bag for 2 weeks. But yes, I will be interested to see how this goes because yeah, this fabric is sort of looser than I was expecting. I'm knitting this on a 5 mil needle. And I think probably I would normally knit a yarn like this on a 4 mil needle, but I really liked the pattern and I didn't think about just like knitting it. Yeah, I didn't really think about it. So I'm hoping this will be good. We'll see how the neckline goes. I might redo it. It may end up looking the same as the rest of my jumpers, and that is okay. So yes, that's that work in progress. All right, we're getting there. This second last work in progress, I will just do a very quick honorable mention. I don't think I've worked on it because I didn't take it with me to Canberra. So no meaningful progress here. Cumulus? No, it's not called the cumulus. I don't remember what the pattern is called. That is mightily embarrassing. Like, I've got no idea. Hold 1 second. Cognac sweater. I knew it started with a C. Cognac sweater by Atelier Castin, and I'm on the sleeve. Finished the body, I finished the neck, doing the sleeve. A merino and a mohair, Earl Grey tea and Isaga soft silk mohair. The Earl Grey tea is Paisley Knits non-superwash merino. Fingering. Absolutely gorgeous, so soft. I've just clearly got other things on my mind. And that's okay. I've finished a lot recently, so I think having a few which I don't have as much progress on makes sense. But I will talk more about that one once I actually do some work on it. Alright, last but not least, we have my one acquisition, and it's new cast on. And this one, I reckon I've been thinking about buying this yarn and knitting this exact sweater for a long time, but, well, for like 2 months, maybe. The pattern wasn't released. This will be the Kai sweater by Second Knit in what is just a stunning dark burgundy colour and like a little beige. The yarns, this has actually been very fun. I went down a Ravelry loophole. So this is the same colorways used in the sample, but they used Issachar mohair, Issachar soft silk mohair, whatever it's called, held with Issachar twinny or spinny or one of those. And I have used both of those yarns, and I just wanted something super soft and cozy, and that wasn't going to be it. So I went down I looked at the colors and I thought, what do I want to use? And I wanted to use Sunday by Sandesgarn with the Issachar mohair. But I really wanted to make sure that the colors were going to be a good match, and there wasn't anywhere that I could think of that I could go to actually see the yarns together in person. So what I found out about the Ravelry page, I went on the Ravelry page for one of the yarns and I looked at the projects, and then I sorted by the other yarn, because other people have done it too. Ravelry is a big community of people who use yarns. So I found the two colors that you can hold together. They look fabulous. I don't have them. Wait, they're just right there. Alright, I have managed to avoid knocking anything over. Let me get my colors out. So those were the balls. So yeah, those are the two balls, but their actual names, we have Sunday and this guy. So the purpley ones are Sunday by Sandesgarn in 4372, which I believe is dark burgundy, and Issachar silk mohair in the color 36. And what a great match. They are perfect. The Issachar mohair has done a great job of not, some of them, sometimes darker silk mohairs, you get the sort of white silk core, which is totally fine, and sometimes I really like that, but just wasn't what I was looking for here. And then the beigey color is again Sunday by Sandesgarn in 2650, held with Issachar mohair in 7S. And the mohair, wait, let me put these back in here and then get the ones I'm actually using right now. Just trying to keep a modicum of organization. Ah! I'm pulling it out with my rings. Oh dear. Okay, just trying to keep this place slightly organized. Let me get this guy out. The mohair is intriguing, yikes, because the core is dark. Ain't no white on that core. Come on, come on, come on. Is that focusing, do you reckon? Hopefully you can see that core is dark. Or maybe it's a dark and a light spun together? Something like that. Anyway, the core of it is vastly darker than the color of this. Oh yeah, you should be able to see that. Which is fine. It's just something I didn't expect. This was much darker than I expected when it came. Is that? It's very hard to tell if it's focused. Let's do this. What if I do this? Okay. And then it's going to focus. And now I'm not focused. Wonderful. There we go. There we go. Anyway. But I think it's looking fabulous knitted up. So zooming in just here. Amazing. Amazing. I am knitting the 3rd size in the Kai sweater because, shockingly, I'm under gauge. My stitchers are too neat and tight on these little 4mm needles. And that's okay with me. I love a stripe. These are obviously very chunky stripes. There's only 4 or something in the whole jumper. But I'm really enjoying it. And I am onto the So the construction of this is one of those ones where you do like the little piece and then you knit the little shoulder bits and then you pick up around and you like, I think it's like staggered start, but I don't know what the difference, like it's not a contiguous, like this is you're knitting, like this is like a fake saddle shoulder. It's not like that. You like knit 2 little panels. So there's lots of ends to weave in. But one of the things I did while I was in Canberra is weaved in all my ends like an absolute champ. So that is my acquisition and my newest cast on. And it is the softest thing I've ever touched. I think this is quite an expensive jumper. I had to order the yarn separately because they just like wanted, I think the purple Sunday wasn't in stock, so I ordered them separately. But I think it's it's a pricey one. I'm sure that it's definitely more than 100 Australian dollars. It might be more than 2. I didn't think about it that much. Why do I have money if not to spend it on this? This is the only hobby I spend money on. But I just love it. I am so happy with this color combo. Have I mentioned I like fake did my colors? Well, basically my friends and I decided what our like color story thing was. And you'll be pleased to know that these fit into my color story. But they're just fabulous. And it's just, this is going to be so soft and cozy, and I'm so excited to have it in my wardrobe. I'm so excited. So yes, that one has flown to the top of the wanna work on pile, and we had a knit night at my friend's place last night and I took only that. So basically I'm obsessed, but why else do I knit other than to find things to be obsessed with? So yeah, I hope that is all I think I have. If I have any more knitting projects, I've forgotten about them. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope you're having a great day if you've made it all the way to the end, and I will probably see you in about a month again. I will continue smashing out the knitting, although probably a little bit more sewing as well. I could just see I've got my whole sewing set up over there. And yeah, so I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.